Hi guys, I'm Dr. Tobias. I want to welcome you all back to my channel. In the last video, I told you in one of the upcoming videos I would talk about some abdominal strengthening exercises, and that is what we're going to go over today. These are not going to be exercises necessarily geared towards the six-pack, but they are going to be some of the exercises that I love to give to my patients to make part of their home exercise program. I am going to give a little bit of background. You know me by now. I can't just give you exercises without a little bit of explanation on my rationale behind them. But there are a couple of things about the abdominal muscles that I think are pretty important to understand in order to understand why I chose the exercises that I chose. But one important role of the abdominals is to support the spine and actually help with posture. So the better your posture, the more efficient you're going to be with a variety of other movements in sitting and standing. So that's one reason why the abdominals are so important. The other reason the abdominals are important to address after any type of neurologic injury where you either develop hypertonicity or hypotonicity, meaning you have either overactive muscles or underactive muscles, is it creates an imbalance in the way that our arms and our legs move. And of course, the spine and the core is the central base on which all of the extremities attach. So to have a very solid base is extremely important. And the way I kind of like to describe this is if you were trying to move a boat through water and you were standing on another boat, moving that boat through the water would be extremely challenging because you are on a moving surface. You can't really get that good leverage and that good tension on that rope to get the other boat to move efficiently. However, if you were standing on solid ground and you had a rope in your hand attached to a boat and you tried to move that boat side to side, you would have a much better chance on creating some movement with that boat. So I hope that analogy makes sense, but it's similar to our arms. If they're attached to something that's really unstable, or our legs are attached to something that's really unstable, it makes them less efficient. So one, it keeps our spine erect, and two, the abdominals create a stable base in which our arms and our legs are attached. And therefore, when there is a stable base, it makes it easier to move the arms and the legs. In addition to that, if you have any type of hemiplegia due to a stroke or a brain injury, or you have weakness in one arm or one leg due to MS or a nerve injury, anything like that, now you are asymmetrical. So when you go to move the weaker arm, you have a tendency, most will have a tendency to try and create that stability by either shifting to one side or bending to one side or leaning to one side. If it's extremely weak, same thing, is that a lot of times you'll move to generate momentum. Also, if you have a stroke or a brain injury and you have neglect, you have a tendency just to shift towards your involved side a little bit. And so as you can see, that takes my spine out of alignment, and you're going to create tightness on one side of the spine and probably some over lengthening on the other side of the spine. So those are just some reasons why you might want to address your abdominals. And in this exercise routine specifically, those are the things I was thinking about when I was choosing the exercises. So it was the request came from someone who I believe had a stroke. So in my mind, I was thinking, what are the best exercises for someone that has a hemiplegia or weakness on one side of your body? So this routine, I love a gym ball. I'll put a link for the gym ball in the description below. If you don't own a gym ball, I highly recommend that you get one. They are great for a variety of reasons. You've seen several exercises where I have used a gym ball in other videos. And instead of the traditional sitting on the gym ball, which you see a lot of, I'm going to show you some exercises in supine with that. So the main objective of the exercises I'm about to show you is to create symmetry, Remember I said in my mind I had this vision of someone who had hemiplegia or probably some asymmetry, someone who was probably trying to work on their walking, work on their efficiency when they're walking, be able to lift a weak leg or control a leg that has abnormal muscle tone. So that's what I had in my mind when I was selecting these exercises. So if you have hypertonicity in an upper extremity, a lot of times those muscles will pull that shoulder forward. And of course, that's going to involve some of the abdominal muscles. If you have hypertonicity in a lower extremity, that hip will have a tendency to ride up and this side will become really short, and therefore it will cause like a misfiring or an asymmetrical firing of your abdominals when you're trying to maintain your alignment vertical. So I hope that made sense. And enough of me talking. Let's go ahead and head over to the gym and I'll show you the little exercise progression that I've put together. All right, so you can see I started with my legs on top of the ball, working mainly the back side, or really not the abdominals, although the abdominals are involved to stabilize yourself on the ball, but you're really incorporating a lot of the back muscles as well, just trying to keep that straight spine. And then you can see I added some additional challenges with the arms, and then we flipped it around and we put the ball on the front side. And then again, you're just working on symmetrical firing, the muscles on both sides of the spine that go more down the front of the spine. So that's kind of the rationale behind why I selected these just for this first one. I think I'm going to do another one. I've gotten more than one request for abdominal strengthening, so I will probably do a part 2, but for now these are the ones that were the first ones that come to my mind and were at the top of my list. So short and sweet. I hope you all liked this video. If you did and you like me just targeting a muscle group versus targeting a movement problem, go ahead and give this a thumbs up. If you have any questions about this or some of this doesn't make sense, I kind of just threw this together again because someone had asked for this and I wanted to give a little bit of what was going on in my mind when I selected these exercises. But if any of that didn't make sense, go ahead and just leave a comment. I am happy to answer any questions you might have about this. If you haven't yet subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button below. Click that notification bell so that you'll be the first to know when I post new videos. And as usual, don't give up. It's okay to have a bad day, but don't let it turn into a bad week and a bad month. You have the choice to turn that ship around at any moment. We all have frustrating and discouraging days, whether we've suffered a stroke or not. So if that is you, again, don't let a bad day turn into a bad week or a bad month. We're going into the holidays, so for some that can create some emotional discontent, and that's okay. Continue to put the effort into finding the things that you're grateful for and the things that are going well in your life. Try not to spend too much time comparing yourself to others around you or wishing that your circumstances were different. Again, it's okay for a day. They are extremely valid emotions and feelings to have, but you don't have to stay there. So a very wise person once told me, take as long as you need to figure it out, but don't take longer than you have to. And I can almost apply this to this. Take as long as you need to mourn or grieve, but don't take longer than you have to. So again, I thank you all for those of you who made it to the end of this. I appreciate every single one of you. I appreciate the comments. I appreciate those of you that leave comments on Facebook and recommendations on my business page. That is awesome. I cannot thank you enough. And until next time, you all have a great evening.